Tyler, when you're out showing houses to buyers and you're going to be showing them multiple houses and you're trying to help them find the right one, how do you set those expectations for them in showing houses?
That's a great question. First off, when I have met a new buyer and we haven't seen any homes yet, I always set the expectation that we're going to look at anywhere from 5 to 10 homes the first time we go out. Because there's a statistic out there that basically says buyers aren't going to buy a home on the first house they go into. I mean, that feeling of, is this the right one? Is there anything else out there? Always set in on the first or second house you go into. So the number is actually 7 to 10 homes before a buyer actually feels comfortable putting an offer on something. So I set that expectation up front. Hey, we need to see a lot of homes right away, so when the right one does come up, you feel confident to pull the trigger. Because if you aren't confident and you second guess yourself, the house is going to be gone, at least in the market we're in today. So I always set that expectation first on, we're going to look at a lot of homes. The next expectation I set is how long we're going to spend in the homes. When I first started as a real estate agent, I literally was on the heels of my buyers. Wherever they went, I went. They went into one room, I went into that. I just followed them wherever they went. And that was a big mistake because I was basically letting them figure it out on their own and not showing them how we're going to look at houses. When I learned this from an agent, and it was one of the best lessons I ever learned on setting the expectations on how we're going to look at houses, and it cut my time from 20 minutes in a house to about 5 minutes in a house. And it was the best thing I ever learned. And so I set the expectation up front that we're only going to spend 5 to 10 minutes in a home. And I share this with them. I say, okay, I've helped a lot of buyers buy a house. This is the conversation I'm having with them. And about every single one of them, when they walk into the house that they're going to buy, they know within seconds. Literally, it's like 5 to 10 seconds. They walk in the door and it's like, this is it. And so I share that as an example to them, to saying there's no science behind this, but it has happened every single time. When you walk into that right house, you'll just know. You'll have that feeling. So I tell them, I said, after about 5 minutes in the house, I'm going to ask you one question. And this is the only question you need to answer. Do you see yourself living here? If the answer is, no, maybe, I think it's probably not the right house. And we're going to cut it off right there, and we're going to move on to the next house. Even if we haven't seen certain parts of the house, if after 5 minutes it's already a no, why are we going to look at the rest of the house? And I share this with them by saying, we don't want to waste your time and my time looking at a house you already know you don't want to buy. You don't have to do it as a favor to me because I'm taking the time out looking at houses with you. I want to get you in the right house because somebody else is probably looking at the house you want to put an offer in on. So we need to make sure we see it before somebody else takes it off the market. So those are the expectations I set up when it comes to the showing, and it's like clockwork. It's like, all right, it's been 5 minutes. They're saying this. It's been 5 minutes. All right, honey, we need to hurry up. We need to go to the next one. This isn't it. And they self-regulate, and it has saved me so much time.